Good morning. Good morning, good people. Saturday, July 24th, 2021. It's a Spades podcast. We're back in studio with another edition of the program.
Yes, sir.
We got a special guest with us this morning.
Hi.
Good morning. Jasmine,
Good morning.
how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing well. Doing
Good.
well. Can't complain. Alive.
So, okay, real quick before we move too far, it's everyone's already been talking about this and whatnot, but you know, the whole thing with Nia Courtney in DC with that shooting. A lot of people have already spoke out and said, you know, great things and whatnot, but where it starts at to get these young men and young women back on track is having them believe that they are worthy to society by having, you know, the programs that we used to have back in the day back in place, whether it's trades or vocational schools or community centers, recreational centers, keeping their minds busy, keeping their minds occupied without having to feel like
they have.
All right, well, all I have to do, or all I can do is
foolishness.
Right, rapping. I mean, nothing's wrong with music, but that just seemed like that's just the path for us. It's okay. Well, if sports don't work out, okay, it's music. Well, if music don't work out, then okay, well, I'm gonna be toting a gun. Yeah. You know, and I'm gonna rob somebody. You know, so we gotta get out the mindset of feeling like, okay, well, what's keeping a gangster is shooting any and everybody, and then in the process of whoever you're trying to target because you don't know how to shoot, is you killing innocent kids. You know, kids who, I mean, we would never know what she would have been in her life. But, I mean, she could have been next president. Exactly. You know, she could have been, you know, a community activist.
She could have been anything, bro. Same thing that happened to little Davon.
Yeah.
What was it, last year?
It was last year.
Exactly. That boy was on his way. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And due to foolishness.
Right.
Like, I don't understand why people just start shooting all the time instead of putting your fist up. The worst thing that can happen with a fist, you get knocked out.
Yeah.
You can wake back up from a knockout. Mm-hmm. You can't wake back up from death. Mm-hmm. You can't. There's no going back.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people just, I don't. And it used to be a code, bro. Like, even if you in that life, it used to be a code. You know what I'm saying? No shoe-wear kids. You know what I'm saying? No, nothing on Sundays.
Yeah. Taking the women out the occasion for a second. It used to be a man code.
It used to be a man code, bro.
It's not that.
It's nothing no more.
Yeah, it's not that no more.
They're just shooting.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jasmine, what you say? People are scared to take what?
They're scared to take a loss. I feel like a lot of times, like, even, like, just talking to people, it's like, oh, won't you just fight? And it's just like, nah, because what if you lose? And then everybody's going to think I'm a sucker. It's just like, okay,
who cares?
that's life,
rather
though.
go to
you
jail
take
for
L's.
life.
You take L's in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
you can't win in everything.
Not at all. It makes you strong.
You're not going to go throughout your life undefeated in everything you do. You're going to have setbacks. Setbacks is an L.
Sometimes you need to get put to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, I went up to my father and thought I was big boy, and he put me smooth as sleep. You know what I'm saying? Mama was boiling hot dogs before that. I woke up to pancakes. But that learned me respect.
Hey, you better than me,
you know
man. I was scared of my parents. They both would tag team me.
Bro, I don't know what I was thinking
I wouldn't even try it, huh?
But he put it down real fast. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? You got to take L's to learn life lessons.
Yeah.
Make you a better person who you are.
Yeah.
But
we gotta do better though.
Yeah, our condolences go out to her family.
Definitely.
You know, I get tired of saying the same thing over and over again when stuff like this happens.
It's crazy, bro.
But I mean, I've already started like emailing like local leaders and whatnot, and just saying like, yo, what y'all doing?
We gotta do something, man.
But that's the thing. Like we all have to know who our local leaders are, and we have to email them and apply pressure.
Right.
Like we don't apply pressure for nothing that's important.
Exactly.
You see how quick the Asians got that bill passed for them?
And how long we've been going through injustice.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, here they are.
Too, you know
of course, enough.
Not to say that.
Right. Yeah. We gotta have the same mindset. You know, I mean, we have just as much money as they do. We claim we do. we spend the most out of everybody, so I mean, we have it.
It's the mentality.
Yeah.
We get out of this dog eat dog mentality and come together as a people, like other ethnicities do.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be fine.
That's
you saw a
that's
glimmer.
What they don't want though.
Exactly, they don't want that.
They don't want that.
They saw a glimmer of that when the George Floyd happened. That was just a little bit.
Yeah.
And we moved the needle a little bit. Imagine if we times that by 4, bro.
Mm-hmm. But they keep
that's what they're afraid of.
They keep distracting us with these different things.
That's
like
the point.
Hey, here's a stimulus check.
Exactly. That's the point.
Oh, here's
they want to distract us because they know we powerful.
Or Juneteenth. Oh, okay, we'll make this a federal holiday.
Right.
So they can benefit off it.
Right. And then meanwhile, don't get me started on Black Lives Matter. Like, I love the movement, but there's nothing wrong with having outside people like white people or whoever pitching into the cause, right? Mm-hmm. But at this point, the cause is corrupt.
Yeah.
Because you got too many. We
lost fact of where we.
Yeah, you got too many vanilla milkshakes.
Mm-hmm.
Got their hands in what's ours. Yeah, they got their hands in what's ours. Yeah, they got their hands in what's ours. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And it went from recognizing the injustices that we live with and go through every single day
to a hashtag.
To just a hashtag that, it's being fed by all these different white people. Okay, all right.
Hey, just a hashtag, just a t-shirt.
There's no legislation behind the hashtag.
There's no education. I feel like a lot of people are just like, oh, well, yeah, it's a movement. If I don't put it in my bio, somebody's going to think I'm racist. So let me put it in my bio. And then you're like, oh, soon somebody stick up for something that's injustice. It's like, oh, well, Black Lives Matter is a bad movement.
Yeah.
I hate people like that. They just put Black Lives Matter just to say they're not racist. That's like the type of people, like, when you talk to them and they use our vernacular just to think that that's showing that they're not racist, but it's actually showing that you kind of are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not talking about those people. I mean, those people are going to be who they are.
Yeah, I'm
talking about our people and even white people and Asian people who are brainwashed to well, mostly our people, brainwashed to think and move in a certain kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Like, the leaders of that movement, what y'all doing?
Right.
The founders, what y'all doing? Y'all at the tip of the spear, but you're not leading. You're not getting any legislation passed. So what's the point of the hashtag?
Right. It's not the same energy for, like, every single person.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, because you do have people a part of the movement who really are trying to get things done. You got people who isn't directly, like, in the leadership hierarchy of Black Lives Matter that's trying to get things done. But what's the problem?
It's not enough.
You're not pressing the right buttons.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
But worried about other non-important stuff.
Yeah, they worry about their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
They worry about their pockets.
Until we realize what's the agenda at hand to keep putting their foot on their neck constantly, we're not going to have no real change for real, bro.
Yeah.
Moving on to a lighter note. Jasmine.
Hi.
to a taste.
Sorry, I kind of went on a tangent. I kind of do that sometimes.
It needs to be said. It needs to be said.
Yeah, it does.
It's the uncomfortable topic that people don't want to have nowadays, because you realize that a lot of the times, in order for change to start, you got to start with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're right about that.
So, what do we have here in front of us?
Okay. So I decided to give like a variety 4-piece truffle. So you have an amaretto truffle rolled in almonds, and then you have a caramel mocha truffle.
All right.
So
That sounds amazing.
you push it.
Huh?
Push it. It's okay. They didn't see it, so it's okay. That's not what matters.
Ooh, yeah, I could have told you that because I started to like do this with my finger.
He was excited. We'll just give him that.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and try one as well since
My mother says, "Hey,
Hey, Mom.
you want to see it?"
Oh my goodness.
Oh, whoa.
Okay.
I wasn't ready. You gotta warn me.
I'm gonna put that right there for now.
Oh, which one you taste? You taste this one?
The chocolate one.
Oh, let me tell you.
He has the amaretto one. I think you tried the coffee one then.
Brian, excuse me, sir.
Have you tried it?
Not yet.
Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm sorry. That's really good.
You said it's called amaretto what?
That's the amaretto truffle. So
You
it's
know
just
when
milk chocolate.
When you first told me about that, I like amaretto, the liqueur. I think so.
It's like everybody's talking about it now.
Look at this, y'all. Y'all see this?
Ooh. Yeah, this is.
Girl, you got some talent, boy. You put your
So-
whole leg in there. Woo!
Like any guest,
Girl good. That girl good.
like any guest we bring on, what made you decide to want to go this route?
So I went to culinary school.
Okay.
And I did chocolate competitions in culinary school.
Ooh.
So, and that was already a
Real deal. Holyfield.
that was already a jump for me. I've always been
Okay.
that person that's like, I'm good at it, but I'm not that good at it.
Shit.
Like with like anything. And so my teacher was like, oh, you should do this competition. I'm like, oh, just have an A in the class. I just do my work. Like,
Yeah.
it's nothing crazy.
Right.
My mom was like, well, if your chef's telling you to do it, you should do it.
There's
So
just something in you.
I did it. I got a bronze the first time.
Ooh.
And then I did it again. I got silver. And then so I was like, okay. And then one day, then I graduated. That was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then 3 years later, I'm going back to school. I'm like, okay. And I got into makeup. Makeup was more my thing. I just like making anything art. Like anything that I can make look good. I just always liked it. So then my grandma was like, so what are you going to do with your life? And I'm like, wow, okay. I'm kind of in school. I'm taking it slowly.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, you're good at makeup, but I remember those chocolates. Like anybody can do makeup. Nobody can really do chocolate.
Yeah, like that.
So then she started asking me oh, okay, well, how much would it cost to do this? And how much does it do that? So we just researched it. I'm thinking she's just trying to get a general idea.
Yeah.
Then I go get my charger and I come back and she's on the phone with my mom. She's like, all right, you ready for my card information? And I'm like, wait, what are we doing here? And she was like, yeah, Valentine's Day is coming up, so we're going to get this started. And on February 1st, my grandma basically helped me fund everything to get it started.
That's what's up.
And then I started it. And so I was like, in the beginning, it was hard in the beginning only because I couldn't remember everything. I remember how I did my methods and stuff, but I couldn't remember everything. So first time I was so stressed out because I was just I have all these orders. I want to help people. And then I started buying stuff that I knew. I started remembering buying stuff.
Okay.
And then after that, I just started creating art. My favorite thing is when I unmold them, the actual bonbons, and see the art. I want people to eat art.
Mm-hmm.
So then after that, it's been ever since. I just make art.
Man, just seeing you talk about it, you light up. That's the love that I'm tasting. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I can tell that you really enjoy what you're doing and you put everything into it. You know what I'm saying? All the little frustrations that you did have, it's worth it because I done spend more money on stuff and on stores, internet booking stuff, and it don't taste like this. It don't. And I'm not saying that because we friends. I'm saying this because it's good.
Yeah, there's no preservatives. It's all natural. So a lot of times I tell people, if you ever notice the chocolate that you get, you never seen chocolate mold.
Mm-hmm.
Chocolate itself, tempered chocolate or regular chocolate, has a very long shelf life. But once you add cream and everything the ganache, it's only supposed to stay for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But people will buy it at the store and everything and be like, this is great. And it's there's types of chocolates. So it's the type of chocolate that I use and everything is it's only meant for a short time. You know, we're not here for a long time. Just a good time, okay? But yeah, like it's not the same thing. Like, and I just create flavors that I feel like would go together. Like I went to culinary school just for regular culinary management. Yeah. But for me, my ideas flowed the most when they were talking about desserts. Yeah. Like it was easy for me to just make something. I'm like, oh, that'd be great. Then I do it. I'm like, wow. Like I shocked myself. Like, wow, this is really good. Yeah. So I mean, our hashtag, but like my saying is the art of chocolate inside and out.
Oh, right. I like that.
I like that.
I like that.
I had probably a couple of years ago. I had watched this documentary on Netflix. I don't know if it was called. I don't know if it was the Rotten series, where basically it's a series of documentaries that shows you the process of making different things, like as far as like the cocoa beans, and you know, like basically from birth to when it's become chocolate, and yeah, it's a lot.
It's a process.
It's a process, and those cocoa bean farmers,
oh my god,
they do so much.
They do so much, and they don't get paid and compensated for it very well at all.
They do like majority of like the process, like the picking, the roasting, all that. They do majority of it before it even gets to us.
Right, exactly. So when I watched that documentary, because I like watching stuff like that, so I can understand and get a feel for where things come from and how they start to where they finish. Right. And that specific one, and related to the cocoa beans, really like put things in perspective. Yeah. It made me look at chocolate a little bit different. Even though I love it, but man, that
appreciate the process.
Yeah. So we'll get into your social media and all that at the end of the show. We're gonna move on to the topic of the day. Topic of the day. Topic of the day. Toxic masculinity. We hear this all the time. It's thrown around. It's kind of like you know, like I was saying outside. You know, everyone says toxic. You toxic this, toxic that. But then even more so going further than that, we hear toxic masculinity. And a lot of people don't know what it is. They're just saying it because I'm not going to pick on my sisters, but I think sometimes the way we are as men gets kind of misconstrued and confused as the way we do certain things is deemed toxic. And it's not. It's just we're men. You know, we look at things completely different from you all. And we kind of just want to just put some stuff out there to like give people a better understanding of like how we are as men and like how we look at certain things. So, for example, I don't have any kids right now, but fathers who are in their kids' life tend to be stern. So some fathers' methods of discipline is whoopings. Growing up, I got it both ways, so it didn't really matter. But fathers tend to be the primary one that does like the disciplinary stuff.
Yeah, my mom was.
See, so it varies.
I was more scared of my mom than I was. Like my dad, he's like this really chill person, and he'll get mad. But my mom, she has this look. I'll be like, all right, never mind. I'm gonna chill out.
Yeah, so I think currently in like today's climate, it seems like hitting your child is frowned upon.
Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Right. I mean, and people say, okay, well, it depends on your child.
I can understand that part too, because some kids, like I know some little kids that like you be like stop, you threaten like stop, you're gonna get a whooping, and they'll be scared, they'll scare a kid. Some kids be like okay, like after a while, if you get used to it, for certain kids, they think it's a game, and it's like that doesn't mean like you should like go harder, but sometimes you have to like trick your kids.
Yeah,
like I feel like it's something about kids nowadays. They're bolder. It's something they eating. It's something, because some of the stuff that they would do, I'll be like, I wouldn't even think about it. I would never even think about trying it.
Well, you gotta understand, they grew up in this technology era. Everything they got instant gratification, so they want everything. They too grown. You know what I'm saying? So because they think they grown, they think they can do things. Like at first, because my nephew just do it now. It's normal now. But when he first started doing, just going in the kitchen, just making stuff, and I'm like. Who you ask? I gotta ask. I'm like,
yeah.
Yes, you have to ask. You up here making a steak and you're 11. What are you talking about? You gotta ask. I couldn't put a Hot Pocket in the microwave at 6 without asking. Like, what? And you making a whole steak with potatoes.
No vegetables?
At 3 o'clock in the morning.
That part, no vegetables.
No vegetables?
It probably was vegetables.
You get asparagus, broccoli.
But you get what I'm saying, though. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But you ain't asking nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just walking out the door, picking up DoorDash. Who you ask? God, wait a minute. How you?
Right.
What?
Yeah.
We couldn't do none of that. They too grown. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't know if it was the last show we had or the previous one, but I basically was saying, and I'm not going to tell parents like how to raise a child, but at the same time, when you don't let kids be kids, and you let them grow up too fast by certain things that you do,
or be too stern.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because
you really do gotta be tasteful with it. Like my dad.
Yeah.
My dad I was getting body shots by the time I was 4 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was tasteful with it, even though he kind of had that toxic masculinity. We're going to go into that, but he was tasteful with it. Like, it'll be times where I'm thinking I'm about to get punished. Where he just sit me down and then, like, have a conversation with me and then, like, tell me what I did wrong instead of just beating my ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, like, telling me what I did wrong and be like, all right, you good? I'm not going to whoop you. I just want you to learn this lesson. You know what I'm saying? He was tasteful with his ass.
That reminds me, like, real quick, you ever got whooped so bad and then, like, afterwards your parents want to talk to you?
No, I was the person, I would try to talk myself out of it. I'm talking before it.
How you tear my ass up and then you want to sit me down? I can't even sit down. I can't sit down right
Let's
now.
talk about what you did. You can't even talk.
Man. Whoo.
Then they'll say, you're crying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the worst part.
How should I?
You crying because you can't even sit down. You try to sit down and it feel like you got bit by a whole bunch of fire ants. Whew. Yeah, I had a flashback real quick.
You did.
Man.
Or you get whooped so bad by one parent, the other parent don't even want to touch you. You like, dang. You all right? Want some water? Want some water?
Man. Okay. So that's one. Men discipline their kids by means of whippings. I get it. Some men can't take it too far. But it's not toxic for a man to discipline his kids by means of whippings. If a woman doesn't agree with it, that's okay. That's not your method.
It will have to be a compromise, though.
It has to be a compromise because
that's when it becomes toxic, when there's no compromise.
Right. And
when
that's
it's
how
my way or the highway.
Right. And that's how problems in a relationship come up. Because when we was talking about how we got to stop minimizing what each other does.
Yes.
That's a prime example right there. Just because you may not agree with one method doesn't mean that that method isn't potentially correct for that child. It could be,
Right.
but it's up for both of you as parents to figure that out, instead of being stuck on, okay, well, I don't agree with this. I don't think you should be doing it, and if you continue to do it, we're gonna have problems. You can't do that,
Right.
because it could be the correct method.
Exactly. You got to know your child and know what's best for that child.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's good for the parents to have a good relationship with each other, so y'all could be on the same mind lane. Even though y'all have different perspectives on how you should do things, you should go to a compromise and what's best for the child. You know what I'm saying? Just because you think you might do, something than the father, like the mother want to do something different from the father. But if the father, what he's saying is better for the child, you have to compromise and let him do his thing a little bit. But you can still, from the other side, be like, okay, but you can still try to implement what you try to do things to see if both can work. But at this time, this is what he need.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all all have to have that mindset, because it's for the benefit of the child. Because every child is different. What worked for the first child might work for the second.
Right.
And vice versa. Like my sister be acting, be like, the way I went through, it was different. I'm like, okay, you was different. I'm different.
Yeah.
We grew up different.
That's
You
my
grew up
sister
in the
too.
80s. I grew up in the 90s. It's two different, situations there. So of course it's gonna be different. But don't act like I ain't get my ass whooped too. You know what I'm saying? I still got my ass whooped. It just probably wasn't as bad as it was in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you just got to know your child.
Yeah. Shout out to my boy Devontae. He's on the live right now. But he said sometimes women forget that the child is also subject to what the husband is used to and vice versa. I think compromise. I think compromise is that word, bro. Like if the woman believes solely is responsible for the child. So I mean, yeah, it's having that balance. It's kind of like what we was just saying, having that balance, knowing what works for one child, like you just said, isn't gonna work for the next child, and go from there. Being on your job full time as a parent, not just looking at your partner and complaining about, okay, well, I don't agree with this method of what you're doing. Okay, that's fine. You're not gonna agree with everything that I do. But it could be effective. It could work.
Right. I think females also have the same. I don't even think it's a thing as like toxic femininity, but like a lot of like girls or mothers that would be like, well, that's my child. Don't touch my child. Like even if you're like with that partner, so then it's like it's kind of giving off the same energy as a man would if it's like, I'm gonna do it my way or the highway. If females be like, don't touch my child, next you know you're just kind of doing too much. But it's just like we're just trying to discipline because one of us isn't, so obviously one of us have to.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Don't
because
touch
I
my
see
child.
I see it happen a lot, and I understand it, but I don't like it because when you have a baby, that woman is carrying that baby. You know what I'm saying? They literally risking their life before that baby can be born. So I can understand why you like, that's my baby. You know what I'm saying? I understand that because you risk your life, you put your body on the line. You still got to deal with the after effect of having the baby and all that. You know what I'm saying? I fully understand that. You know what I'm saying? But it was some fuel to make that baby happen. You know? I'm not okay. That's not just your baby.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? I understand that came from you, out of you. But if the father's there and trying to be there, that's his baby, too. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You got to understand that. And I've seen it happen so many times. That's my baby. He got to call me my baby. Final say. Not we have the final say. You have the final say.
But see, and
because you know what I'm saying? Now I get it. If he a deadbeat and all that, then he lost his right. You know what I'm saying? If he just a sperm donor, then okay. But if he a father, you know what I'm saying? Like that's his child too.
You're leading right into a perfect segue of
That's his child too.
if you have a baby by someone and it doesn't work out, that father is still entitled to be in that child's life, regardless whether you all together or whether you guys are just co-parenting.
Yeah.
We gotta stop. Okay, well, we didn't work out, so you can't see your child. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
I think that's a female ego thing. Like, I think females, as soon as like it doesn't work out, you had a kid, or as soon as the guy starts to move on, it's the issue. Like the co-parenting be working perfectly in the fine. You know,
Of course.
As soon as he finds somebody, then it's the issue. I don't want her around my child, or I don't want this. You know what? You got all these type of people around my child. You can't see a child no more. Or I'm gonna take you for child support, and then proceed to complain that you're a single mother when you tried to have help. It's different if you like reached out and he's like, yeah, nah, it's a no for me. That was just an accident, but you know.
Yeah, he a sperm donor. That's
Yeah,
understandable.
but like if
Right.
he's trying and you just don't like the fact that he don't like you no more. But at the same time, it's like you get both sides, because it's like I didn't do this myself. You know what I'm saying? Like you laid down and did this with me. We both know there's so many different things before even like getting into the whole. You didn't have to get an abortion, but there's so many things you can do before to prevent yourself from getting pregnant. Plan Bs are out there, okay? But y'all didn't do it. Y'all could have talked about it. Simple communication could have been like, we know what we did. How we gonna go with it? Because it may turn into something, or we just gonna move past it and do what we need to do to make sure it don't happen again. It's both sides.
Exactly. We talked about that.
Wear a condom.
We talked about
That simple. It's really that simple.
I mean, obviously we have condoms. Women got condoms too. Put it on.
I think it's the era. I know so many younger people that are active, and when you ask them, or they'll ask you for advice, like, well, are you wearing protection? Who does that?
Exactly.
What? Why would I do that? What? It's like, what do you mean? Besides getting pregnant, there's so many other things, you know?
Hey, but remember when we used to really worry about if somebody had that sauce?
I'm telling you.
If somebody was burning?
I'm telling you.
Like, I don't even hear that no more. It's just all pregnant. Like STDs don't even matter no more. Like, it doesn't exist anymore. Like, technology is so advanced that you don't got to worry about STDs. No, you can still get burnt.
See,
you can still get that sauce.
And what's
Like,
what's even more disturbing is when people younger than us catch it, they don't know what's going on. They're like, damn, what the hell wrong with me?
Then you calling your mama.
Why my burns when I pee? What's going on? Have you been wearing condoms, baby? No, that's what's going on. Go ahead and see a doctor.
But see, they not having those conversations
At all.
though, bro. They're not having those
about
conversations.
Pregnancy, and then they don't be caring about that either. Because they out here just willy nilly with it, but I'm not worrying about STDs either. Like, what? What's going on? That's stupid.
Yeah, yeah. Put a condom on. At the end of the day,
That's simple. And if you don't want to, just don't do it. Don't do it.
Keep your legs closed.
How about no?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, you can just say no. It's crazy because there's been times, I've had women like come at me, right, and I'd be like, no, I'm good, and they'd be like, what's wrong with you? Like, I don't have to do nothing with you if I don't want to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, consent is still a thing. You know what I'm saying? Consent is still a thing.
On both parties.
On both parties.
Both parties.
So, I know.
That's hypocritical.
Yeah, I mean, I know we over sexualize everything, and we got the music says all this different stuff, but I mean, consent really is still a real thing. So, I mean, there's a lot of.
And I'm glad you brought that up with the toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
We was talking about earlier us being athletes. It's so irritating from us being athletes, and you see so many especially football players,
Yeah.
go through that, getting consent and all that. Like, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is so much like issues when it comes to sexual assault, when it comes to athletes, bro?
Money. Simple. It's money.
Yep.
If I know you make millions of dollars and we may have done something, you had the consent at the time, but maybe you don't want me, or it's a one night stand. I get in my feelings. I'm also most of the time white. I'm gonna ruin your life because a lot of times athletes don't have anything else. They don't have backup plans.
Okay, you coming from like them taking advantage of that.
Right, that's what I mean. Like, that's why I would put you in that situation. Because one, either social media is so powerful that day, it's going to ruin you.
Yeah.
So, because even though I may be lying, it's going to ruin you with social media and the Me Too movement and everything like that. Yeah. And a lot of the times, if I can put an ultimatum out there, okay, you want me to settle this, just give me some money. And I'll shut up. I'll drop the charges, do everything. Just give me some money.
Prime.
Yeah, that's like I 100% agree with all that. But what I was more from was the toxic masculinity from the man's side, from them actually not getting consent and like, no, I'm getting this, because I think it's because like it's so testosterone driven in athletics, because we out here bumping and bumping to each other, crashing each other, trying to be competitive. It's like we don't want to lose, and then some people take that to an extreme in every faction. So when a girl tells you no, you want to have sex with me, do you know who I am? It's like you taking a loss and you don't want to lose. I'm not losing, so you want to take it.
But wouldn't that be more so a pride thing, not athlete?
No, because athletes is one of the most prideful people on the earth.
It's an ego thing too. It's
an ego thing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, but why though? I mean, I don't get it. Because of where you at, you have a choice of females that the non-average person would not have. So why would you have
just because of money?
I just don't get that. It really irritates me and it hurts me. You know what I'm saying? Because people just automatically just think you kind of like that when they, you know what I'm saying? I had that happen to me. I had a girl just scoff at me because they seen the football. Oh, you play football? Oh. Huh? I'm confused. I'm like, what's going on? It really hurts me that I keep seeing that with athletes and that, different athletes. Hey, look, I'm not wishing nothing on Deshaun. I ain't saying that he did it or not. But, like, bro, it's like 30 people, 30 females. And he was the most squeakiest, clean black quarterback we've seen in a long time.
But with his...
And you telling me that you out here doing that? Not saying that he did, and I truly hope he didn't. But like you?
I don't think he did.
I'm not saying it, but I'm just saying though. You seen Darren Sharper, you know what I'm saying? LT, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn. Now, more LT, he more shady. You know what I'm saying? But Darren Sharper, he was a good dude. He was an analyst and all that after football. And you did all that.
It's you gotta look at the dynamic too. It's some of these guys, some of these black athletes with impeccable track records, right? Whenever they are unhappy with their situation, or whenever they get a contract extension, or they get a great new business, adventure that they always wanted, you always seem to find situations where these random allegations start popping up. Right? It happens to white people too.
Yeah.
But with our white brothers and sisters, that stuff tends to like fall off by the wayside. With us, we are so brainwashed that a lot of times our own people feed the fire with the narrative, right? Like Kwame Brown, for example. Shout out to Kwame Brown wearing your t-shirt, bro. He was talking about this a couple of days ago where it was back in 2004. His brother had some girl come over to his house. It was two girls. His brother had one, and then the other one was just like she was just by herself.
Add one.
And Jasmine, I think this is kind of what you was starting to talk about. The girl was drunk, right? Kwame said he gave the girl a bottle of water and like $50 to get home. She ended up staying, right? So Kwame went to sleep. This girl came into his room, got on top of him, and started kissing him. All this extra shit, right? And then when Kwame woke up, I was like, yo, whoa, like, what are you doing? Basically, to make a long story short, she was trying to extort money out of him. Because then she eventually filed a sexual assault.
How? You was sexually assaulting me first.
A charge against him.
That's
because
crazy.
because he wouldn't conform to what she wanted the whole time, which is she wanted to get money out of him. I mean, he never served any jail time, and charges got dropped because, I mean, there was not enough evidence. And then, luckily, there was cameras at his house and his neighbor's house across the street. So it saw like the whole interaction where, you know, he was trying to like get her to leave and whatnot, and like get home safely.
And I feel like that's education that I feel like more women need to have as well, because it's just like a lot of girls be like, well, if he don't want me, I can ruin his life. And it's just like,
Man.
I feel like there was this thing I saw on Facebook. It was just like girls who falsely accuse guys of rape or sexually assault, once they say that, oh, I was just lying or it's not true, they need to serve time.
Yes.
Because you're ruining people's lives because in that moment you felt some type of way that he didn't want you. But if it's vice versa, which is a lot is going on kind of now. Like some guys is going around with the younger generation that if a guy asks a girl out or let me get your number at a club and she says no, they can't take a no. They hit her or they go crazy. And it's just like, but if it's the opposite way, you want to, you know, scream. And it's like, come on now. It's being hypocritical.
Yep. We talked about
this last show as far as a lot of times, like, when you all like may go out with a guy, depending on who the guy is, like if you didn't have a good time or whatever, and he wants what he wants at the end of the night, and you don't give it to him, a lot of times like some females die because of that. And
turned on the wrong man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like when That's Why Your Block pod was on, when she said, she was like, when dudes, I be having a conversation with dudes and they be like, I don't know what happened, why she not talking to me no more. The date went good and all that. And she was like, okay, it probably went good to you because she probably didn't say nothing, but she probably didn't enjoy her time because probably you hold all the cars that you drove her there. You could have not paid. You could have left her on the side of the road. That's a true fear. You know what I'm saying? And I was thinking, I'm like, and the couple of days that this going to my mind, and then like I ain't hear nothing from her. I'm like, okay.
It's a lose.
It make you see it from a different perspective.
It's a lose both ways, because from their perspective, like you said, a lot of times they can die. From our perspective, a lot of times we can get 20, 30 years for something we didn't do.
Yeah.
All simply because we don't want to conform to what somebody wants out of us.
Or just simple communication.
Yeah.
You know, like my thing is like a lot of times you can see vibes through text, or if you're on the phone, if you see that it's not going well.
That's tough. I don't know about that.
But think about it. Let's say I'm scared because I don't want to go on a first date with you because I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, there's reasons. There were flags before I even got there. So if I don't want to talk to you,
Okay.
why can't you just block them? You see what I'm saying? You make it so you can never talk to me again. Don't put yourself in that position. Now, I'm not saying that girls have, it's their fault when they go on these dates. But I'm saying there's ways and precautions. And even if you want to communicate and be like, hey, look, I'm not really feeling this anymore. Yeah, if you want to be friends. And then if you start acting crazy, just go ahead and block him.
Yeah.
He can have a conversation with himself. But don't, trust your gut feeling, basically. Because you're not going to get that from just sitting down and all of a sudden everything changed. You liked him up to a certain point. But there were certain things that you just ignored. And because I feel like a lot of girls settle for things because they just want to be with somebody.
Having
a man is not everything.
Hit the bell. Yeah, that's
true.
That's true. And it's not for every situation, but a lot of times that stems from what? Not having both parents in the house. Typically.
Well,
there are some single parents who have raised their kids really well. Kids turned out great,
but
majority of the time, that mindset comes from looking for something that was missing when you was growing up.
Okay, now plot twist. What if you have both parents in the house?
Mm-hmm.
But like, I love my dad to death. I love him to death. But my mom taught me everything both sides. Mm-hmm. Because my dad, it's only me and my sister. So the little girls. So my dad's perspective is just like, you don't need to know about that. Don't worry about it. That's don't worry about that. That's not you to worry about. Mm-hmm. While my mom's perspective was, if I don't teach her, you're going to be upset when she comes in here pregnant. So a lot of the stuff I learned as much as I could from my mom, but my parents, I raised both of my parents in the house. Mm-hmm. But my dad, anytime I ever brung it up, you don't need to know about that. I was always daddy's little girl. And I'm very grateful for my father, but it's just sometimes I don't think it depends on the person itself. Yeah. If you have that dad that's just nah, bro, you don't need to worry about that. I don't talk about that. I don't want to talk, none of that.
It depends on the dynamic.
But even then, I've asked my dad, so hey, can we have that talk? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or every time I would say because Paul Walker was my person, and I like Tyrese too. Mm-hmm. And every time we watched, I'd be like, ooh, he's so fine. My dad be like, yeah, okay. It's you're my little girl all the time. I don't want to hear about this.
Instead of explaining your feelings, explaining why you feel that way, and it's okay to feel like that, but daddy don't want to hear that. You know
it's so when I ask questions so why does guys do this? He just gets quiet.
Well, the only thing I could, I don't.
That's why a lot of dudes is afraid to have females because of that.
Well, I don't know your dad, Jazz, but what I will probably say it could have been at the time was maybe he felt like certain things that you were trying to ask, he felt like it wasn't the right time because it may be age.
Or depends on what he went through in his past that caused him to act like that. Right. With his relationship with his mom or just females, period.
Right.
For his mother, in the past, and probably skewed his ways on how he looked at things. Because that's what kind of happened with my dad. I understand what she's saying because I kind of went through kind of the same. Because my dad, he wasn't in control with his first son. His mom did not let him in his life because he didn't want to be with her no more. Mm-hmm. So he didn't see him for years. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get a chance to really raise him for real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he had a strangle grip on me because of that. Because of trauma from that. You know what I'm saying? So my mom had a say, but she had to say on specific things. You know what I'm saying? Like when they had to come to do with school and permission slips and certain things like that, like that was mine. But then like my dad had a stranglehold on things. Now the older I got, he learned his ways. My dad was he was a little bit, had that toxic masculinity, but the more, you know, I grew up, he started to learn that, you know, when not to, you know what I'm saying? You know, just because of his trauma that he grew up in. You know what I'm saying? That once he passed away, it was all Ma Dukes. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And learning just from Ma up from like 13 and up. You know what I'm saying? It gave me like two perspectives on things. So like I still had kind of that macho and that manliness from my dad and all the lessons that he taught me, but I also learned the female perspective a little bit more from my mom and especially my sister growing up with me. So it all depends on your dynamic on how you're going to be as a person. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because I dealt with toxic masculinity. Like, I couldn't even sit on Santa's lap.
I remember this conversation.
You know what I'm saying? I think I said it on the podcast. I couldn't sit on his lap. Like, it's a picture somewhere with my dad standing beside Santa, and I'm on the other side standing beside Santa like this. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he was able to learn lessons that taught me not to be so toxic. And then my mother broke all that down because the God-fearing woman she is. So it all depends on your dynamics.
Yeah, and what you agree upon and whatnot. Before we go, because we only got a couple more minutes, Jasmine, tell everyone where they can follow you and reach you.
So we have an Instagram, which is Jazzysbonbons and Confections, and then we're on Instagram. I mean, we have a Facebook. I'm saying Instagram twice, but we have Facebook, Jazzysbonbons and Confections, and then Instagram is Jazzysbonbons. And you can fill the website at jazzysbonbonsandconfections.com. But yeah.
I'm getting just more of this. I wish I could taste this. It's so good. It's so good. Oh my goodness. Man.
Yeah, I'm about to crush these last two.
Oh yeah. Definitely about to do that. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Keep doing your thing. It's not a lot of people out here that really put all into their craft. They give you half-ass shit, all the money.
Right.
And I appreciate you putting the love into every little box and every little chocolate. That means that you care. You gonna be care. And
I knew by the box it was gonna be a good product. Just the way it was packaged up, I was like, yeah, it's love put into this.
And I'm proud of you. So keep doing your thing. For real.
Thank you.
All right, Jazzy, thank you for coming on. All right, family, that's it for today's show. This is the Spades podcast. We will see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Stop being toxic, people.
Y'all be safe. Get y'all vaccines if y'all want. And yeah, stay safe out there in the streets. We out. Peace.
Bye-bye.
We are Ripped Radio Network.